Hey everybody, we are live. Welcome to another edition of Boston Straight Shooters. I'm one of the hosts for the evening, Steve, aka Negative Ned. Frank should be joining us momentarily. Once again, please bear with me while I post a link for everybody so that you guys can join the show. And we'll see what we can do with this. We have a lot to talk about this week since we had Patriots beat the Falcons. We had the trade deadline for the Patriots. We had Bruins played 3 games. The Celtics played 4 games. So we got a full docket here. The Red Sox made a couple moves. So we got a lot to get to here. Let's see. All right, there's that. All right, there's one. Hold on. Frank, again, like I mentioned, Frank should be joining us momentarily. So bear with me here while I do this. All right, let's get started. Let's start with the Bruins. We'll start with the Bruins. The Bruins are actually on a 4-game winning streak. They have won 5 of their last 6 after losing 7 of their previous 8. I have to give them an ounce of credit. I didn't see it coming after they lost 6 in a row and losing 7 of 8 and whatnot. I didn't have high hopes for them. They I give Marco Sturm credit for not being satisfied and making the necessary changes in the lineup and kind of sort of putting the guys on notice, like Frank said last week. He thinks that he called the players out with some of the comments he made, and it appears to have worked. They're playing better, and I think that there's a couple of things that are noticeable while we're talking about that. The first thing is that they got Hampus Lindholm back from injury, and he makes a huge difference for them. The other thing is Marco Sturm took Mason Lohrei and basically benched him, took him out of the lineup because he was playing so poorly on defense. And, we've talked on here numbers of times about how talented he is offensively, but he's a liability on defense. He was playing with Charlie McAvoy, and he was kind of dragging him down, I think. And so they put Zadorov with McAvoy, and they put Andrew Peak with Lindholm on the second unit. And they have Yokoharu, I think, playing with Aspero or something like that. Jonathan Aspero, who got called up from Providence to fill Lohrei's spot. And I'll go back to Lohrei. He's got talent offensively. He's good on the power play, but he's a liability on defense bad, and they just can't afford to have that if they want to play the kind of games they want to play and win. If it was me, maybe you try him at left wing in some capacity, maybe, if he doesn't pan out on D. Try to get something out of him. And for anybody wondering why they don't just send him to Providence like I did, he does not have the option to be sent back there without clearing waivers, which means somebody can grab him. And so you're not going to do that, regardless of his $3.2 million salary he signed. The risk is too great to lose him for nothing. So, this is not one where you want to eat the salary. You do want to get the most out of the guy. And I like him. I do like him. But not if he's going to be a turnstile on defense. And that's been their main problem that they've had. So, kudos to them. They're still giving up a lot of shots, but they are definitely playing better in their own end, and they're playing better overall. And look, I came on here at the beginning of the year and said they're going to win a lot of games 2-1, 3-2, 1-0. It's going to be tight. the goal scoring doesn't seem to be the issue for them. I mean, last week they got 2 games with 4 goals, 1 game with 5, and win those games 5-2, 4-3, 4-3, and they beat Carolina 2-1. So they scored 15 goals in 4 games. It's almost 4 goals a game. That's a lot for a team that's not known for scoring goals. And I think Don Sweeney said this last year in training camp after they had that, historic run with Jim Montgomery when they broke all the records and whatnot. And then they got off to before they even got off to a slow start in training camp and so forth with Swayman being out. Don Sweeney had said, hey, look, we're gonna, there's going to be opportunity here for some young guys to step up. And none of them really did. None of them really did anything. And so this year, the same rule applies with the trades they made at the deadline. So they are getting contributions from young guys that they weren't getting before. Let's bring Frank in. Hey, Frank, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. All right, we're talking Bruins right now, talking about the winning streak.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just talking about how 2 years ago, after the historic run they made with Jim Montgomery as the coach last training camp, Don Sweeney said that there was going to be an opportunity for a lot of young guys to come in and get an opportunity to do something, and they did not. And this year it seems to be flipped, where there are a few guys, young guys that they traded for that are making the most of their opportunities now. And so I was just talking about the difference between the two, because earlier in one of the previous shows when you weren't on, I had been saying that, who's going to score goals for these guys? They're going to win a lot of games 3-2, 2-1. And last week they actually scored 2 games with 4 goals and 1 game with 5. And so the goal scoring actually hasn't been the problem. It's the defense that's been the problem. So the supposed strength of the team has actually been the weakness, which they've corrected over the last bunch of games.
Okay, can I talk? Can I talk? Can I say something?
Sorry, so I'm just rambling on over here. Go ahead.
I just want to know why you don't sound so enthusiastic when the Bruins are winning. You sound a hell of a lot more enthusiastic when they were losing. I mean, you're taking this negative Ned stuff personal. I'm gonna have to reach out to your friends and send a hit squad out after you. I don't understand what's going on over here. Like, what the hell is going on?
Listen, this is not jump up and down, do cartwheels, and bring positive Pete back. We're not there yet. Okay, so chill out.
Well, I'll say this. I'll say this. You did sound a whole lot more enthusiastic when they were when they were losing, and you couldn't wait to get on the show. Now they're on a winning streak. I didn't hear nothing from you, so I don't know.
You are correct, because you know what? You know how it is around here, Frank. We love to beat them up. So that's part of it.
No. You love to beat them up. I hate doing it.
But listen, you missed the very beginning where I did say, look, I give him credit for turning things around this past week or so. Mm-hmm. I give the coach credit for pushing the right buttons, and I even mentioned that last week you mentioned that the coach with his comments kind of pissed the players off and put them on notice, and so I did give kudos to Marco Sturm for getting these guys to get off their duffs and start doing something. So, listen, there was a little bit of positivity, and you missed it.
Yeah, but we're not going to get too excited yet, because I was listening to the radio all day today. I had it in the background, and I heard that the Bruins are about to get to the meat of their schedule next couple of games. So if they can get past this, what did they say, in the next 4 games, 5 games, they get past this next 4 or 5 games, then he said that according to the sports stocks guys, they said the Bruins should be the real deal if they get past these next 4 games. You know what I mean? So being that they were losing tonight and then they came back and tied the game, I'm thinking they might be the real deal, Steve. I don't know. I don't know sports like you know it. I do know sports like you know it. I don't know the Bruins like you know it. So I can't say for certain. So I guess my question to you would be, how are you feeling right now about the Bruins? You think they're the real deal, or do you think that the last couple of games is no big deal, and let's not get too excited. Hold your horses.
It's the same thing I said 2 years ago when you guys told me to try to put the Bruins in the Stanley Cup after 2 months. Listen, there's a lot that has to be proven still. I do like what I see. and they do have a tough stretch coming up because they have back-to-back games against Toronto, and they have Ottawa again next week, and they have Montreal. And so that's a tough 4-game stretch. But even if they win or even if they went 3-1 in those games, it doesn't mean they're the real deal. There's a lot of hockey to be played. The schedule is a grind with the condensed schedule, and I didn't realize until I was listening to sports radio like you, and then I took a look at the standings, and there's a lot of teams that are in the same boat as the Bruins. So it's not just them. A lot of teams have like 6-5, 6-7 for a record. There's a lot of mediocrity, and the condensed schedules is hurting everybody. If Florida's in last place, believe it or not, which they're 500, that doesn't make any sense. I don't think you really find out who you are or whatever until after December, because you'll have a good 25 game sample or so to figure out. It's kind of like football, right? The first 4 games, nobody knows what the hell anybody's doing. Then by the time you get to week 6 and 7 and 8, then you got a better idea. This is kind of the same thing. They've played 15 games. They got to play another 10 or 15 games, and then we can see what they are.
Yeah, well, let's give them credit for one thing, because I heard this schedule has been brutal, but back-to-backs and traveling and everything else. So if they're doing pretty well like this with a brutal schedule, as the schedule gets easier, and in 2 weeks the schedule is supposed to get easier. As the schedule gets easier, they should, we should see who they really are. But if they're doing this well, again, just how it is in sports. If you start, if your foot is to the metal and you show, a lot of stuff to, right now, when grit, when what do they say? The hard gets going, or something.
When the going gets tough, the tough get going. I got you.
Yeah, but if these guys are not like that, and they'll be able to stick through it and everything else, then you might be happy at the end of the year and saying you guys might really have a great Bruins team, because it seems like the young guys are playing really well. According to what the guys are saying, they're still going really well. They're scoring really well. The only problem has been defense, and everybody's saying that. But again, according to what these guys also said, is it's a scorer's league now. So it's not a defensive league like it was years ago, which I didn't know that either. So the Bruins, it seems like they're being built to be a shootout type of team. So we'll see.
Well, they're not those games. I said this earlier. Those games don't bode well for them. They can't be a shootout team. They can't win games 6-5. They have to win lower scoring games. Now, prove me wrong. Obviously, the last week or two, getting 4 goals, 5 goals here and there, but that's typically not how they want to play. They do want to play those tighter 3-2 games. They do have to tighten up things a little bit more. We saw it when they played Vegas. The run and gun stuff. It's not going to work for them. So we'll see. I mean, it's encouraging. Look, I think that Hustadinov, who I said last week would score his first goal, he scored 2 goals in 2 different games. He scored the shootout winner the other night. I mean, he got moved up to the first line. He's making the most of his opportunity. And that's exactly what they need. They need a guy like that to take advantage of his opportunity while you have somebody hurt. And it bodes well for them. So I'm happy to see that. I know it doesn't appear that way, but when they score and I'm watching the game, I do this and I'm like, yep, they scored, whatever. I don't just sit there and go, oh crap, they scored. Like, no, I do want them to win. I don't want them to suck or lose. And you asked this before too. Are they tanking? Do they want to tank? I heard a lot of that already after the first, when they lost 7 out of 8. Oh, it's Tankapalooza. Get this guy. I'm like, the ping pong ball thing, I think we briefly touched on it last week. It doesn't work in the NHL. It doesn't. It's not in any sport. And when you do that, you're messing with the gods, so to speak. We saw the Celtics do that and then lose out on Tim Duncan. I'm not a fan of tanking, but I also am not a fan of them making it to the 8th spot just so they can say they made the playoffs and they get bounced in the first round. I've seen enough of that over the years. So I don't know, Frank. We'll see. So far, they're giving us something to look forward to so far. And it's good. It's a good thing. I'm glad that they're not in the basement stuck at 2-12 or whatever.
Okay. So in risk of repeating ourselves again, I think it's time to move on.
All right, let me just get to these. Let me get to these comments here from Denise real quick. Says proves her point that Don Sweeney doesn't know Jack. She's not happy with him at all. It looks like there was a cheap hit on one of the Bruins, Andrew Peak, but but they cut away, no penalty on the cheap shot, and she said no, they don't want to tank, and so no, that they don't want to tank. The owner thinks they're going to make the playoffs.
Again, let's ready to move on. We do want to talk about the Celtics, the Red Sox, or the Patriots next.
Wherever you want to go, you're
All
driving.
right. All right. I'm driving, huh? Okay. Let's do the Patriots because at the end of the day, the Patriots is not going to be the longest conversation. We saw how they played. We saw what So I always throw the ball to you and say, give me your 3 takeaways from the Patriots game. The Patriots played Atlanta. For those of you who are not familiar, not sure anything else, the Atlanta Falcons. I picked Atlanta to give the Patriots a little bit of fits. I said 5 weeks ago, I circled Atlanta as being one of the games I was concerned about before they played Tampa because I was thinking that the Patriots might be on a 2-game, like they might lose to Atlanta and then lose to Tampa Bay, which, I was concerned about. I really wanted them to beat Atlanta. Well, I wanted them to win every game anyway. But my concern was if they lost to Atlanta, how they would react because Atlanta's front four is supposed to be one of the best front fours in the NFL. And they showed that with all the sacks they got to the Patriots. So, but before I jump in and give you my takeaways, give me your 3 takeaways and from the Patriots playing the Falcons, and tell me what you think. And
So the first one is they're still giving up too many sacks / quarterback hits. That still hasn't been rectified.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, and we had a little text back and forth, and so I kind of see the light now. This is a teaching moment for winning ugly for them. And number 3 is that, listen, they're still good against the run on defense. And I'm a little surprised by that because, like I said, I thought that the Atlanta running back would get more yards, and they didn't. And so if you want to take away a positive in a tight game, it's that they still have not allowed a rusher to go over 50 yards in a game. That's huge.
Yeah.
Last year they were getting killed.
Yeah, and they were, and they definitely addressed that this year. They're one of the best top 3 in the league against running. So, and I think they might be number 2, but actually, I gotta look it up. Last time I looked at it, they were number 1 against the rush. I don't know where they are now. I haven't looked at it in 2 weeks. But I know they didn't fall off because I was concerned with that Bijan kid that they were going to face against the Atlanta Falcons. I figured he'd get a breakaway, and they even bottled him up, which brings up the point I would say earlier on, like if the Patriots have to face Indianapolis Colts and the way the Colts lost when I forgot whoever they played bottled up the Taylor kid, and it seemed like
Pittsburgh.
Once they bottled him,
It was Pittsburgh last week, right?
Yeah. Pittsburgh beat them. So they bottled up the running game, and once they bottled up the running game, they didn't go for the play action. It seemed like the Colts were fit to be tied and lost that game handily. You know what I mean? They made them a one-dimension, team by passing the ball. And I was like, okay, so if the Patriots could do that if they happen to face the Colts, they could beat the Colts. I was concerned about them, playing the Colts, but now I'm not. But anyway, my 3 takeaways. One, I think I said this for a couple of weeks in a row now, is that I said Josh McDaniels as a play caller and as an offensive coordinator keeps showing me things every single week on why he is one of the best OCs ever in Patriots history. I don't know where he falls in NFL history, but to me, the way this guy calls plays and the way he adjusts, in the early games and things like that, it's mind-boggling to me. And on the same flip side of that, sometimes we have games like the way he did where he wasn't able to get the Patriots to score in the second half. They only scored 3 points in the second half, but he still was able to get them to obviously produce and get them to move the ball, around, but they were having more issues with the line than they were with the play calls. So the play calls wasn't his fault. The line wasn't really his fault. It was the play calls were still able to move the ball. That's 1 for me. 2 for me, you already took this, the steam out of that was, with the running game, being able to stop the running game. That was amazing to me. And 3, this is one that I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to, but that I was, is that the Patriots defense overall, it's got to be one of the best in the NFL. It's got to be. I don't know where it is statistically. It's got to be one of the best in the NFL because when they needed to stop, and when they needed to come through for the last 4 weeks, they were able to do that. Granted, they play this prevent defense a lot, but it could be because their defensive coordinator has been sick. It could be that the guy they have is not the one. I don't know. I just know I'm seeing things that I discussed with you. I said, this is kind of shocking to me from the way the Patriots are at. But those are my 3 takeaways. I might even want to throw one bonus one in there and say, the Patriots wide receivers are better than the media is giving them credit for. Especially at Douglas. These guys are really, really playing some great ball and running some great routes from what I can see on TV. I'm not there in person, but from what I see on TV, the way they're getting separation, you know, it's amazing to me. And again, with Drake May getting time to deliver them the ball helps a whole lot too. Versus last year, he didn't have time, to deliver the ball. This year he does. And I think that's it for me with the Patriots thing. But I do want to say I'm concerned about Tampa Bay. I'm not gonna lie. I'm concerned about them playing Tampa Bay this week. Where's your thoughts at with Tampa Bay? Because Tampa Bay, to me, is a little bit better than Buffalo in a lot of things. You know what I mean? Buffalo's better overall on the team or as a team, but Tampa Bay is much better, even though they have a lot of injuries on the wide receiver. Tampa Bay can move the ball. They can run the ball. They can throw the ball. Tampa Bay can move that damn ball. You know what I mean? They can. This is gonna be probably their biggest test of the season to me. What's your thoughts on that, Steve?
I agree with that. I agree with everything you said. I think that Tampa's defense is probably going to be the toughest defense that they've faced,
Yeah.
from what I've heard and seen. And Baker Mayfield's balling, and it doesn't matter whether he has guys hurt or not. He's elevating the guys around him. I forget that rookie guy's name, but he's come out of nowhere to become the number one guy. And again, talking about a young guy taking advantage of his
Yeah.
opportunities.
Yeah.
Listen, Baker Mayfield's dangerous. You can't sit on him. You can't take Tampa lightly. I don't know how good their offensive line is. I didn't really get a chance to dig into it, but that's a game that I have them losing this week because, you're on the road. It's a tougher challenge. They've been off for a week, even though Todd Bowles' record after a bye is 1-5. Throw that away. I mean, it's a new season. And I know numbers don't lie because I say that all the time. And I would like that to come true and have him be 1-6. But it's Baker Mayfield for me. He's the difference maker. I mean, you've probably seen it too, watching. I forget what Monday night game they were playing,
Yeah.
and somebody had him locked up like twice, and he scrambled and got out of it and made a throw. I'm like, guy's just like a magician in a phone booth. So it's going to be a challenge for them. And look, it all depends what they look like if they lose. Obviously, if they got blown out, we'd be like, oh, crap, didn't see that coming. They look like ass. Or it'll be close. Maybe they lose 23-20 or 27-23 or something like that, and it's a close game, and they don't get blown out. And it's like, okay, they're in the game, and they played. If they play well enough, and, again, it's all going to come down to mistakes. Can't have turnovers. Can't have fumbles. Drake May's got to do a better job protecting the ball. When he fumbled last week, I was so mad. I'm like, dude, you gotta get rid of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be huge for them this week. He has to go back to a few weeks ago with no turnovers. He can't fumble the ball.
Well, I did like the two times this season when they were away against Miami and Buffalo. When it was at that particular point, each time it was the biggest game up to that point. You know what I mean? We all thought they were going to lose to Miami in Miami. We all thought they were going to lose to Buffalo in Buffalo, and they won. So now I'm thinking that maybe when the pressure's on, maybe they perform well. I'm not gonna lie. I do think that they're going to go to Tampa Bay, but I'm not as over the wall thinking that they 100% they're going to lose. I think they have a chance. I think they have a chance because so far they've performed well this season. And honestly, what's their record? 7-2. They should be.
Yep.
They literally should be 8-1. There's only one game that they played that they should have lost, and that was the very first game. You know what I mean? The crazy part about it is what they could be 9-0. They could be, and if they had played the Raiders the way they were supposed to and didn't turn the ball over against Pittsburgh, we'd be talking about a different Patriots team, and everybody would be saying that they're back, 100% back. And I'd be like, slow down, relax. They have a real easy schedule this year. Let's wait. But here they are, 7-2. Everybody in their mothers got them losing again this week. And so far, when people pick them to lose, they perform pretty well. So I don't know. So if you had to pick right now, you pick them to lose.
Yeah, I have to. I have to based on what I've seen of Tampa and Baker Mayfield. And forget the MVP race nonsense, right? Everybody's Drake May's number 2 and Baker Mayfield's 6. Forget all that nonsense. Yeah. I'm just looking at how Baker Mayfield has done since he's been with Tampa overall, not just this year. I mean,
Right.
he's elevating the guys around him. That's a key. So listen,
And
it's the same keys.
he's in every game. Like Steve, he's in every game.
That's
Every
the
game.
problem. So even if
Yeah.
you have a 2-touchdown lead, you can't sit and think that the game's over because it's not going to be.
Remember when that guy was considered a bum? Remember that? That wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, but he was on Cleveland. That's part of the reason he was considered a bum. I mean, they suck.
Yeah, but he made Cleveland better when he stepped on the court, when he stepped on the field in Cleveland. He elevated Cleveland. Cleveland's biggest mistake was letting him walk. That was their
I
biggest
agree.
mistake.
I
Should have
agree.
never let him
I
walk.
totally agree with that. And that wasn't his fault. Again, we talk about guys fitting into systems, right?
Yeah.
Here's a guy that fits into this Tampa system perfectly. And we've talked about it with Mac Jones going to San Francisco and some other guys. Daniel Jones going to the Colts.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a complete 180 from what he was with the Giants too. So that's part of it. So listen, Baker Mayfield, he's good, and he just can't be counted out. I don't think you can count him out.
I don't either, but he's not better than Josh Allen. So I think I'm gonna.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Listen, look again, Frank. We know this is a winnable game for them. This is not one where we would look at and go, "Oh my God, they're going to get killed 30-7." It's not like that right now. The way the Patriots are playing, they should be in every game. I would be surprised if they got blown out in any of the games now going forward. They're playing better. To your point.
I'm very excited to see this game. I know they're going to start out slow and piss me off. I know, but what time's the game? What time's the game?
It's at 1:00.
So by 1:20, I'll be pissed. I know that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And hopefully
I'll be getting the angry emoji texts.
Yeah. I hope by 1:40 I'll be back. I'll be calm again. You know what I mean? I hope. But we'll see.
Well, I get the angry emoji text at 1:06 as soon as they freaking defer the kick. I'm like, stop deferring the kick. I hate when they go down 3-0 or 7-0 right away. And against Baker Mayfield, maybe you take the ball first so you don't have to deal with that. That's frustrating for me, but whatever.
I think they might take the ball first this week because they want to stay ahead. You know what I mean? I think they might do that. If they get the opportunity to do that. You know what I mean? We'll see.
And I want to circle back on one thing you said earlier about Josh McDaniel. That play that they made to Hunter Henry on 3rd down or 4th down or whatever that was at the very end when they ran the clock down. That was huge. That was a huge call for a team that was doing nothing the whole second half and couldn't do anything when they needed it in crunch time. And those are the plays that were missing the last couple of years.
You mean when they were supposed to run the ball and everybody thought they were going to run the ball and he goes back and he throws the ball and he
threw the ball and Hunter Henry got like a 12-yard run or whatever it was and slid down and kept the clock running. They need those plays, so that's huge, and I want to make sure to mention that because it's a big difference between last year and this year.
100%. All right, let's talk about the Celtics now. Let's get ready to get.
Wait a second. One second. We have to talk about the trade deadline, the moves or lack thereof that they made. So how was your? Let me ask you this.
Anything to talk about because they didn't make any moves. But go ahead.
Well, no, I want to ask you if you're disappointed that they didn't do anything, and what did you think that they needed the most? Because I know we touched on this last week.
Yeah, we did, and that's why I didn't think we. Okay. Everything I said last week. I think they would. Everything I said last week. Nothing applies. The only thing is I like that they. I wish they had, but I'm not mad that they didn't. You know what I mean? So that goes along with what he's preaching in the locker room. You know what I mean? We all we got, we all we need. You know what I mean? That's if that doesn't hit home, nothing else does. All the guys have bought into it. You know what I mean? So I'm happy with that. Go ahead.
I wish they had added something on defense, either a pass rusher, and I'm not talking about Myles Garrett, just a depth piece, or somewhere in the secondary, another depth piece to account for maybe potential injuries to Gonzalez or Davis. What did you think about them signing Jerry Rice's son, Brendan Rice?
It wasn't even on the radar to me. So basically, you thought everything you thought last week, you still agree with. You still wish that
Yes.
Yeah. So Jerry Rice's son, it was not even worth mentioning because he might not even be on the team in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? I think they got him to be for a look. But at the end of the day, right now they haven't made any mistakes on any moves that they've made this season. So I can't critique them on anything, and I refuse to because right now they're checking off all of the boxes. They're hitting, even though everybody, including sports reporters and everything else, they all got all kinds of things to say. They're 7-2. They went into Miami and won Miami. even though they could have lost. But they went into Buffalo and beat Buffalo handily. They beat Buffalo, handily so bad that it's fair to say you could say Buffalo could come up here and lose because of the way Buffalo's playing now. You know what I mean? When they come to Foxborough, I don't think Buffalo's going to be favored. You know what I mean? I think New England will be favored.
And they didn't make any moves either at the deadline, so that's kind of a
No, they didn't.
surprise.
Yeah, and they should have. They should have.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say just
That's all.
quick
We're
note.
good.
That,
Thank
huh?
you. I said that's all. We're good. Thank you.
I just want to say one more thing. I don't know if you saw this when we talked about it on Box Seats. Antonio Brown was arrested and extradited from Dubai on a murder charge. So we definitely want to talk about that because he's a former New England Patriot. So
I did not hear that. When did that happen? Today?
yeah, about 2 hours ago.
Wow.
2 hours ago.
No, I didn't see that. Oh my goodness, that guy.
Yeah, because
that poor guy's a basket case.
Because in the headline of what I saw, it was ex Tampa Bay, ex New England Patriot. It was nothing to do about Steel. He was a Steelers first. You know what I mean?
Right.
Antonio Brown getting extradited from Dubai on because he did run to Dubai hoping to. He's so stupid. He ran to a country that he could be extradited from. He had the money, but he decided to go to Dubai. Stupid. But anyway, talk about him more about the kid's dumb. Yeah. But all right. So I wanted to talk about the Celtics. Yeah, and then get into the Red Sox a little bit because the Red Sox, obviously free agency is today. I want to talk about that really quickly. I'm not sure where the Red Sox are going to go. We'll get to that in a second. The Celtics, Steve, I'm upset. I'm very upset. I'm so upset. I get the last game I watched. I honestly I cut it off and then I cut it back on and watched it on replay. That's how mad I was. That's how mad I've been. Only because, and it was the Celtics game against Utah because the Celtics are shooting horribly. Even though last night they caught fire, but I'm still not impressed because that was against Washington. You know what I mean? Like I'm not impressed. I'm not where the Celtics are right now and where they should be is night and day. You know what I mean? I'm not happy with anything that they're doing. I'm not happy with Joe Mazzulla's substitution patterns. He looks like he's still trying to find 3 or 4 or 5 guys who can play together. I'm not happy with that. I have 2 bright spots. I have Ant Simons. He's a bright spot, and oh my God,
Josh Minot.
Minot.
However you pronounce his name.
Yeah, those are my 2 bright spots. Because when Jason Tatum comes back, if those 2 kids are on the team, the Celtics don't go a little bit better. They are very of course, and If Cater can continue to do what he's doing. But the Celtics need rebounding so bad. You and I could get a rebound off the Celtics. I can't believe how bad when it comes to rebounding. I cannot believe the Bruins are winning. I can't believe how bad that the Celtics are rebounding the basketball. And then the Celtics continue to roll out these little short guys on the court. They continue to do it. Meanwhile, I don't know if they got the memo, but all the teams, and I mean all the NBA teams now, are getting taller at all the positions. They're getting taller all the way around. Excuse me. The Celtics, meanwhile, want to get smaller. So the level of anger that goes on me. But I'll let you, you tell me what you think, and then I'll pound on them some more because I'm so mad.
I agree with everything you said because I see the same thing. And again, this is kind of like you with the Bruins. This is me with the Celtics. I can't articulate as good as you can basketball wise, but I'm watching these games. I'm watching them chuck up the threes. I'm watching the matchups, and I'm watching them put out a small lineup with, Sam Hauser, Pritchett, and I forget the other dude's name. But they got small guys out there, and I'm like, okay, you got no tall guys. Who's going to rebound the ball? And they just chuck it up like they always do. It's extremely annoying. 11 for 51 against Utah is awful against a team you should beat. They had many opportunities. I know there was a lot of scuttlebutt at the end with Jaylen Brown tripping over the guy there, but I watched the replay. The dude slipped. His feet went out from under him, and Brown tripped over him, and he's looking for a call. And I'm like, forget it. You guys had other opportunities. That didn't cost you the game. The Houston game was a complete. They couldn't do anything. Houston didn't miss. I mean, that was just you weren't going to win that game. Didn't matter.
Yeah, even if Jason Tatum had played that game, they'd have lost that game. I don't, with
I
that,
mean, they were 19 for 29 from three. That's unheard of. The 65%.
yeah.
The Celtics only had a couple of those kind of games last year. And if you're
I
doing that,
but
nobody's beating you.
I told you, or I said it on the other sports show. Houston or Dallas is my team to go to the finals in the West this year, and Houston or Dallas is my team to win it all this year. It's not OKC, even though OKC is playing lights out. When Houston gets this together, when all things are clicking, those boys are all tall and they all are shooters, all of them, and they all can rebound. You know what I mean? Like that. Ime Udoka, I promise you, it's going to be Houston or Dallas on that podium at the end of the NBA season, right there with Kevin Durant holding up the trophy, the Larry O'Brien trophy, because they're doing something I've never seen before. When that's putting out all these guys who average their average height is 6'10", 6'11". You know what I mean? They're starting five, and the shortest guy when he comes in, it's like, okay, and he's the guard. You know what I mean? They got this one guard who comes in, and he is one of the best shooters in the league. Meanwhile, Peyton Pritchard and Derek White are shooting the worst that they've ever shot in their careers. And the Celtics backcourt is the worst backcourt shooting three-pointers in the league. Who thought that they were going to see that coming? You know what I mean? Like, it's just
Nobody. Nobody. I watch them. And here's the thing, too, because I talked with a coworker of mine because he watches the Celtics a lot. I was trying to explain to him. I said, it wouldn't be so bad, except a lot of the looks they're getting are open looks. They're getting the ball. They're finding the guys. And the guy's wide open, and they're still missing the shot. They're clanging off the rim. They're clanging off the backboard. They're getting air balls. I mean, I don't understand it for all the open looks they're getting, and shoot that poorly. Just
well, if it turned around, yeah, because what shooting does is shooting goes in spells. You know what I mean? Shooting goes in spells. And if they caught the next hot spell at the end of that game, and it goes into the next couple of games, they should be fine for the next 4 or 5 games. They should be. The next 2 games are against Orlando, back to back in Orlando. So that would be interesting to see how that plays. But again, shooting spells, it goes, and right now they started out the season on a cold spell, and when they started on a cold spell, they ended up going 0-3, and then it got a little bit warm. I mean, a very small bit of warm, and then they won 3 straight. And then next thing you know, after they won the 3rd straight, then they lost a game, lost 2 straight, and then next thing now maybe they're turning stuff back around. We'll see. But the last Washington game was the best I've seen him shoot all season. You know what I mean? But Derek White has got to perform, and Peyton Pritchard, he has lapses when he stops, and he keeps forgetting that he's the starting point guard. You know what I mean? Until then, Steve, I'm upset. I don't even want to talk about the Celtics anymore. Let's move on. I don't want to talk about them anymore.
I don't blame you, because look, they're better than what they're. All right, I know there's a saying that, Bill Parcells, your record is what you say, your record is, you are what your record says you are. But I think that they're talent-wise better than what their record says they are. They just haven't put it all together yet. And so, listen, we talked about this before, not to keep rambling on, but, it's early. You have a chance to work out the kinks. If you're going to play bad, get it out now so that later on it doesn't come back and bite you.
Well, the schedule is getting ready to get a whole lot harder, so we'll see. Who thought Chicago was going to be this good? Orlando's getting their act somewhat together. Cleveland, who knows? Indiana's horrible. I mean, there's some teams out there. Look at the New York Knicks right now. They are playing phenomenal basketball. I figured they would. I didn't think they'd be the number 1 seed in the East, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes by Christmas. We'll know who you are and what team you are by Christmas. We'll know. And right now, on paper, the best team in the league is definitely OKC, and they should be, because they are the defending champs. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
I don't think anybody's beat them yet. So, yeah. So let's talk about the Red Sox. You ready for the Red Sox?
We're ready to talk about the Red Sox. How about we talk about this? Jaron Durant contract. Did you see this?
Yeah, I did. Go ahead. Tell everybody.
So, I was unaware of some of this stuff because I had to look it up after the fact. Apparently, they declined to pick up his option, and then they re-signed him a base salary of $7.7 million, which includes $75,000 in bonuses, and he's got. So, long story short, the Red Sox saved themselves $125,000, and now everybody's going cuckoo, and myself included, saying, "Well, they're cheap." Why couldn't they pay him the extra 125K? You're not making any sense. And so there's, you listen to sports radio, right? Those guys were like, well, maybe that 125K is the difference for a small market team like Kansas City or Minnesota or another team that doesn't want to take too much salary on.
Mm-hmm.
And I read something here that I did not know is that the reason that they declined his contract is because there were performance enhancers in the old $8 million contract based on MVP votes. Specifically, the option would have gone to $9 million if he had finished in the top 20 in MVP voting. So he would have had a $9 million salary, and a lot of teams probably would have balked at that, include the Red Sox, because they probably didn't want to pay him.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize also that he's still under team control for another 2 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean arbitration wise. So it's not like he just becomes a free agent at the end of this year. If they keep him, they would have to go through the arbitration process. And so, I kind of get now why they did what they did, but I still don't agree with it. I mean, Jesus Christ, you paid, without getting too far ahead, you paid all these bums to sit out injured with no elbow, and you can't pay this guy an extra $125,000. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? It makes no sense.
Well, that's not the biggest thing. I was hoping you were going to say the biggest problem, and you still didn't say it. The biggest problem is when he becomes an unrestricted free agent, guess what's going to happen? He's gone. He's gone. He's not going to want to negotiate with the Red Sox because right now they're nickel and diming him. And he's not. I'm sure if I look at it like if it was me, if I was sitting there and they were nickel and diming me and I was overperforming in a lot of areas and I was ahead of my, what I was supposed to be on paper, and I'm ahead of schedule of what I'm supposed to be performance wise, and you don't offer me a contract, obviously to show me that you love me and you want me to stay here at this hometown. The minute I become a unrestricted free agent, I'm going to see what you're going to offer me, to stay here. But I'm also pretty certain that if that's me, I'm going to be gone because the Dodgers are going to call me, or the Yankees are going to call me, or the Mets are going to call me and give me my worth. That's just how it's going to be.
The problem is this. They nickel and dimed him the first time around.
Oh, I know.
Before this, right?
Yeah.
And I think he must have realized that he needs to sign this deal so they can get moved. Because even when the deal's over, he won't be a free agent at the end of the year. He won't be able to just be like walk away. He'll have to go through arbitration, and then he'll stick to his guns. And so when the arbitration says, his camp says, hey, I want $14 million, the Red Sox come back with $9 million, there's going to be a bunch of this, right?
Yeah. But in 2 years, when he becomes an unrestricted free agent, he is going. But that's even listen.
Honestly, I think he's going to get traded. I think
That's
he's
why I
going
was
to
ready
get
to
traded before
go.
that.
They wanted to make sure his contract was tradable for him to be traded, and ultimately that's what they wanted to do because they got a log jam at outfielders anyway. So that's where they are with that. They're sitting there saying we got a lot of outfielders. He's performed. We might be able to trade him to somebody who has a great pitcher we want, or a pitcher who's up and coming. But this kid, I don't know if he's going to be another Mookie Betts, but this kid, he can really, really play ball. And the Red Sox have had a couple of guys come through their farm system and a couple of guys come through, their team who can really, really play baseball. And I'm still hurting from Mookie Betts. But, what do I know? You know what I mean? What do I know?
Well, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm aggravated with them because you let a 5-tool player get away, and he's got a couple more World Series championships in his pocket, and he should be a Red Sox, but because the owner's too stupid, too cheap, doesn't want to, pay. I don't know what it's going to look like, Frank. I have a funny feeling that, and I'm not trying to get too far ahead. I just think that, they declined the option on Lucas Giolito for $22 million. That's a smart move finally after they paid the guy $38 million for 2 years.
Yeah.
Right. 2024, he didn't pitch because he had an elbow injury. So you threw away $19 million. Then you signed Liam Hendricks to play for 2 years for $5 million. And he didn't pitch last year either. So you threw away $24 million when you could have got another guy for $24 million.
Yeah.
Right. And last year for 2025, they signed Patrick Sandoval to a $36 million contract, $18 million a year, or whatever it is they did. Stupid. He didn't pitch last year, and they think he's going to pitch this year and be Giolito and take his spot. I mean, they got to get. I think we're getting back to Durant. I think that he's going to be part of a trade package to get another like legit guy. They have to get another legit guy. Period. The money they're throwing away, they could have had 2 freaking more better pitchers than what they signed.
Right. Well, you can't blame them for the injuries because you never know when guys get injured. You can't. I'm not mad at them for that because at the
They
time
signed the guy when he had an elbow injury. They signed Giolito, and they signed him with the knowing he needed Tommy John. That's stupid.
I know that, but they also thought he was going to come back and perform and everything else, and he didn't. So I'm not mad. I'm not mad. When it comes to injuries, because in any sport, you're hoping for the best. You prepare for the worst. You hope for the best, and especially in baseball, when it comes to pitching, I mean, and look at what's his name, who's now in Atlanta. You know what I mean?
Chris Sale.
Yeah. Chris Sale was. I couldn't wait for him to get out. And as soon as he gets out from the Red Sox, he ends up becoming what the NL Cy Young winner. You know what I mean? Like, so you never know. If he had stayed one more season with us, and he ended up becoming that AL, that Cy Young winner that we were hoping he would be, and not be made of glass. You're not, when it comes to pitchers, you just never know. I'm not mad at that. The part that get me upset was Alex Bregman. That's the part. I knew he was going to opt out, but him not resigning this, I'm like, okay, I think he's gone. So.
I think he's definitely gone. He doesn't want deferred money. He doesn't want a $40 million contract to have $10 million of his salary deferred. He wants $30 to $35 million.
And I would too.
He wants a 5 or 6 year deal. And I made a mistake. I need to apologize for on here because I thought he was 34 years old. He's only 31. So a 4 or 5 year deal, a 5 or 6 year deal, he'll only be 36 or so when that comes around. But still, I don't want to pay him $40 million at 35 or 36 years old when he's on the back end. That's just not feasible. $30 million.
You would at 31, you wouldn't mind paying him that. This guy's good. He's great, and he brings stability into the house. You know what I mean? And into the playground. He does good. So I'm not mad at him like that. I don't know. I think they need to get something. They definitely need a new DH. They need to figure out something, and they need a first baseman. They need listen. They need to do something, and I can't wait for them to do something because the moves that they sound like they're getting ready to make, I'm not liking. So.
No, well, listen. Everybody's talking about them getting Kyle Schwarber for DH or first base or whatever. That's never going to happen. Talking about bringing Bregman back. That's not going to happen. But they do need to get a legit first baseman. Tristan Casas, I'd send him back to Worcester and leave him there, and try to. I leave him in Worcester and see if he starts hitting home runs down there, and I try to trade him if he has any value. I wouldn't bother with him anymore. He's a done deal in my opinion. I don't want him back. And listen, I was wrong before. I said the same thing about Duran, right? After he loafed on that fly ball, and I was like, get him out of here. He's a bum. And then he makes the All-Star team, wins the MVP. So, listen, I'm okay with being wrong. But
don't worry, Steve. Nobody's looking at your crystal ball saying that you know everything. You're
well, listen, if they've been watching the show long enough, they know how wrong I am a lot. So,
all right,
it's all part of it.
You ready to move on?
Yep. All right, hold on. We're going to where are we going? Actually, we're going on to the poll questions.
Yeah.
This show is going to be over in 3 minutes. Wow, we're going to be wicked early. You got someplace to be?
No. It's not going to be early because you know how we argue all the time. It's not going to be. We're right on schedule.
Where is my
your poll questions? How do you feel about the Patriots doing nothing at the trade deadline? That one.
That's it.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's in here. It's fine. They're building for the future, 0. And terrible. They needed to do something, 100%. So everybody thought that they needed to do at least something and try to improve the team. But, like we talked about, like you said, they how's that phrase go? We all we need, that kind of thing. Building the chemistry from within there. And, I think, listen, I'm happy they're 7-2 and not 2-7 like last year. Let's put it that way.
It didn't seem like it, but that's a story for another day.
All right. Now we move on to predictions.
And I got to help you work out some of these poll questions. Huh? What'd you say?
Predictions.
Oh, okay. I said I'm going to shoot you some poll questions to ask this upcoming week too. Okay.
Okay, good.
Okay, because
I definitely need help. I had 7 last week and 1 this week.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so last week's predictions. So here we go.
Where are we?
I didn't like that you put that I was wrong on one of them, but we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
Hold on a second.
Last week's prediction.
All right, hold on. All right, I'll go first because since I get most of them wrong. I said Husnudinov was get his first goal. Ding, ding, ding. I got one
Yeah.
because he got 2 goals,
Yep.
2 different games. Matt Collins gets his first TD. Wrong.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. I said the Bruins would win 1 and lose 2. Wrong. Keep them coming. Here we go. I said they would beat Atlanta and lose to Tampa Bay. That's to be determined because they have Tampa Bay coming up this week. And I said that Bijan Robinson would get 70 to 75 yards rushing. Wrong.
How many
So,
yards did he get? How many yards did he get? End up getting
46.
Yeah.
He got 46 yards rushing.
And I know he didn't cross 50. Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you said that the Bruins would be 2-1 in the next 3 games.
What I exactly said is they'll be 2-1 or better. But I'm wrong because I didn't hit two. I didn't put my foot down on the or better. But
yeah. I'll put it this way: I'll go back and rewatch it, and if it is, then I will correct it because
no, it's wrong. It is wrong because neither one of us thought they were going 3-0 in the next 3 games. Neither one of us thought that. Okay, and keep going.
Patriots will beat Atlanta and Tampa Bay next 2 games to be determined until they play Tampa this week.
Yeah.
And the last one, Bijan Robinson will get 35 yards rushing. Wrong because he got 46. But you were closer than I was by a mile. I mean, I wasn't sure that they would be able to hold them under 50, and they did.
Mm-hmm. They definitely did. Okay, so this I was kind of anxious to get to this part about predictions because I want to see where you are with the Bruins in the next couple of games because everybody's like really, really paranoid about the Bruins in the next couple of games.
Okay.
So where are your predictions at the next couple of games?
I got 6 predictions here, believe it or not.
Huh?
I have 6.
Oh wow. Okay.
I got 2 for the Patriots, 2 for the Bruins, and 2 for the Celtics.
Okay, that's 6. Okay.
Yeah. Well, one of them is last week's. Patriots beat Atlanta and lose to Tampa Bay, right?
Okay.
I say Trevion Henderson gets his first 100-yard rushing game this week. As tough as their defense is, you want go on a limb, outlandish, or whatever that word is you use, because my picks were too easy. Mm-hmm. So this is
I kind of like that.
This is a little. Listen, I'll put it this way: if he runs for 100 yards, they're winning.
Yeah.
Right, and they need him to do that.
You also know this too, Steve. Josh McDaniels knows that your other team, you're going to try to stop what they do, and when he knows that that they do that, he goes to a player that no one is keen on, which is the reason why I like that. I like that because Tampa Bay is prepared for everything. And now we don't know if Ramondre Stevenson's going to play. You know what I mean?
He's probably not playing. He's got a toe injury.
Probably won't. But they're going to give the ball to some. Who else? Who does the Patriots not really? You know what?
I forget who that running back is they had last week. He scored a touchdown. I have to look him up.
Well, whoever he is, that's the guy. I'm going to say I think he's going to get 100 yards because the Tampa Bay is not really keen on him. Trevion Henderson, I think he's going to do well. But the other running back, that might be his breakout game. And Matt Collins is going to have a breakout game because Tampa Bay is going to be keyed on Stephon Diggs. They're going to be keyed on
Pop Douglas.
Definitely Pop Douglas and Hunter Henry. They're going to be keyed on those 3 guys. So Josh McDaniels knows that. He goes in. So that's going to be. I'm gonna go with that on my predictions. But you go ahead, finish your predictions.
I say Trevion Henderson because he hasn't broken one like he did in preseason for a long run. So if he breaks one, I think he's going to break one for 50, 60 yards and get a touchdown. That'll help him get over 100.
He might. Yeah, he might.
That's me going on a limb right there because it hasn't happened yet, and he's due.
Well,
and I want to see. I want to see it because listen, we saw him in the preseason. He was exciting. I want to see that. Yeah. All right, Bruins. Win 1, lose 2. Now, I originally had them losing tonight and splitting versus Toronto because those 2 games are going to be tough.
Okay, so you said win 1 and lose 2.
Again, just like last week.
Yeah, but the difference is they're playing much better teams. And they're playing, I heard today, I think they're playing a back-to-back.
They're playing back-to-back against Toronto. So I think they're going to split those games.
I hate to say it. I think they're going to lose those. No. The Bruins are on a win streak. Look at it. It's 2-1 now. Bruins are playing.
They're winning 2-1 now, yeah. All right.
I think they're going to go 2-1 in the next 3 games. I think they're going to
Okay.
2-1.
All right. And I say that Jeremy Swayman gets a shutout in one of the Toronto games, one of the 2 games.
Oh,
He has
you're
a
really
good
going.
record.
I love that you're going on a limb like this. I love this.
See that, Frank? I surprised you. How
Yeah,
about
I love
that?
this. I love
Shutouts are
this.
hard to come by, but he plays good against them. So I'm gonna stick my neck out there and say he gets a shutout.
And I'm gonna stick my neck out there and say he won't. How about that?
Thanks a lot.
He won't. I don't know. I don't know.
Frank,
I don't
you're
know.
taking the cream puff picks this week. Thanks a lot.
No, no. I want to
No,
go.
I'm teasing. I'm teasing. Because you were busting my chops last week
Yeah.
for making them too easy, and then you're like, "Oh, I'm just gonna say he's not gonna get a shutout." Okay.
I'm going to whatever you say. I'm gonna go against the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. And those are usually when you go against the opposite of me, those usually come out right.
Yeah.
Celtics, I say 2-2 next week. I say they split versus Orlando. They lose to Philly and they beat Memphis.
Okay, so I think the Celtics going to lose 2 games to Orlando. And who else did that one after that they play?
Philly and Memphis.
Damn, they can go 0-4. I think they might go 0-4.
That would be an absolute disaster if they did that. Look, Orlando does give them fits. They've been giving them fits for 3 years.
Yeah, and
They have to split those games.
Yeah, but even though Orlando, actually, put me down for 1-3 in the next 4 games. I'm going 1-3.
1-3 it is.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm really going to stick my neck out here. I
Okay.
say Josh Minot averages 20-plus points per game in the next 4 games.
Definitely not. Hell no. No.
See, but this is what you wanted, right?
Yeah, this is exactly what I want. I loved it. I love it. But not. But I will say he's going to average at least 4 blocks, and he's going to average 10 points. You know what I mean? I definitely think he's going to start. His problem is he gets taken out of the game. Foul trouble. His problem is foul trouble. He gets taken out of the game as soon as he gets in the rhythm. It's foul trouble. Yeah, but he's the bright spot for the Celtics. But he's definitely, I say he's going to average 4 blocks, 3 steals. I think he's definitely going to do that.
Okay.
3-3. No, put me down 3-3. So now you got me. Okay, what's the next? You got any more?
That's it. That's all 6.
Oh wow,
that's a record for me. I don't think I've ever had that many.
Yeah, I don't think you have it either. But put me down for the Celtics are definitely going to be 1-3 in the next 4 games because they're playing horrible basketball. They're playing like they're Washington Wizards. They look horrible. they look horrible. You see, I'm not even laughing.
Washington Celtics.
Yeah, I'm so mad I can't even stand them. Like they suck. So yeah, the Bruins, honestly, in 2 weeks, the Bruins and the Patriots are going to be the shining star in the Boston area. Everybody's going to be excited about the Bruins, and everybody's going to be really excited about the Patriots in 2 weeks.
Now think about this for a second, right? We thought it was going to be flipped. I thought the Celtics would still be good, and I know a lot of people thought they were going to be crappy, and that the Bruins would be the ones crappy.
Yeah,
and it's flipped. So it's even surprising me. I'll tell you, and it's a pleasant surprise. I mean, look, you got to take it for what it is.
Yeah, and I think
I'll take it.
Honestly, I said to Kevin, I said if I'm the Celtics right now, I keep playing the way I'm playing. Because the draft next year has 5 or 6 guys that are really, really good. Like 5 or 6 guys. They're in a no-miss situation. So why not just be one of those horrible teams and see if that ping pong ball bounces your way so you could be one as fast as you could. Because if they keep Josh Minot, they keep Kata, obviously they're going to keep Jaylen Brown and Derek White and Tatum comes back. They're going to be a pretty good team if they can get one of those draft. And if they can't, they're still going to be a pretty good team when by the time Brad Stevens finishes messes around with the team and everything else. I think this is his time. He might not say it, but I think this is a year where he's like, you know what? Let's just see where we're gonna be at because he's trying to get out of that apron. You know what I mean? This year he has to get from under it, and I think that's the problem. So,
well, if you think about it, if they're this bad when the trade deadline comes around, I could easily see Simons getting traded so they can get that money off the books, right? Yeah. That's a no-brainer, kind of, and it's too bad because I like him. But if Tatum comes back or if he has a chance to come back and they have a chance to get that money off the books, you're making a swap there, and it's a no-brainer of a swap.
Simons will not see the end of the season as a Boston Celtic. He just won't. I wish he could because he could really play. I like the way he plays. And when he gets hot, he gets hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like him. Like you said, he's a microwave. He's Vinnie Johnson 2.0.
Yeah, he's a microwave. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm out of here. See, if my wife texts me one more time about my supper, she's gonna get mad. So,
all right, so let's sign off. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check us out on YouTube. Thanks for voting in the polls and for all the support. And we'll see you guys next week.
see ya.
Peace.